It's Two Dudes with Attitudes, a wrestling podcast, and we are back, baby. Woo! It's been 3 weeks, but we are back. I almost forgot even how to do this podcast or how we open up. But you know what? It's like riding a bicycle. You get back on it, and then you can ride it, I guess. But we are back with our WWE edition, even though the New Day are going to AEW, we'll still say it that way. And we are so pumped, Ryan. We got SmackDown, Raw, NXT. We missed out on SummerSlam. We missed out on everything else, but we are back and we ain't missing no more. Ryan, how excited are you to be back, my dude?
I am very pumped. We've missed a lot, though. We haven't, like, the last time we did this podcast, Sami Zayn was WWE champion. Kevin Owens was still injured. Who was the women's champion? Liv Morgan and Io Sky were competing in the King of the Ring finals. Brock Lesnar was still wrestling. There was a lot. Rhea Ripley still had the women's title.
She still does. But
yeah. But Chelsea Green was an afterthought, and now she's their interim women's champion. So there's been a lot has happened. We have a new member of the Bloodline. We have a new Fatu on NXT. There's a lot has happened in the course of 3 or 4 weeks since we've done our last episode. But we're back, like Eric Bischoff. We're back and better than ever, and we're gonna get back to being on our regular schedule from here on out. It's been my fault that we've been gone for so long. I'm in the process of moving and some other stuff going on. So yeah, we're back, baby. That's all that matters.
That is all that matters. And all the people who are crapping on WWE haven't thinking it's that great. This is actually a pretty good. We got a lot of stuff to talk about, good or bad. So Ryan, let's hit that music and get this party started.
All right.
Two dudes with attitudes, let's go. It's the two dudes and our attitudes ruthless, aggressively speaking, so let's do this. We're Ryan and Denton, they here to get your attention. The 5-star broadcast shit, start to the ending. Whether it's the E or it's all Lee, the two dudes with the attitudes that bring the heat. Get the point, yeah, it's on, time to lock in. Listen to the podcast where they get it poppin'.
Right. Yes, sir. Before we jump into SmackDown, Ryan, I got like a 30-second thing I want to talk about really quick. If you haven't noticed, if you ever listen to us or you watch us, I'm a huge Funko Pop collector. I got all WWE Funko Pops, all different sorts. And I always wanted my brother from another mother, my doppelganger, Dominic Mysterio. They only made one that I know of. I've never been able to find it. I kept searching. My son, who's cooler than everybody else's son, just decided to start collecting Funko Pops recently, and he's been collecting birthday and graduation money. This dude went online on his own, searched for it, surprised me this week, and paid for it with his own money. My son's 12 years old, y'all, and got me the Dominic
Look at that.
Mysterio before mustache. Look at that. He's wearing that purple, as you can see, that I used to always wear when I used to dress like him at all the wrestling events, which I still do. But yes, sir, he got it for me. So I told him I would give him a shout out. My son Mason, being BA, finding me. This is so hard to find. It's like, it's like $60 online and stuff too. But he said he found it somewhere for cheaper and this and that. So
nice.
Props to my son.
Shout out, Mason.
Right. So I put it, he's used to be our biggest fan. He used to always come when we did live recordings. He would always pop on. But yeah, so that's it. That's all. I just wanted to be a proud dad moment. He got me.
Remember when Dominic Mysterio won matches, which
can you not trigger me right now before we get into Raw, please?
Yeah, that was back when
that was back
when he knew how to wrestle.
Whoa. Well, he also had Rhea Ripley as his mommy, so
that's true.
Liz Morgan dropping the ball over here. Where were you with Dragon Lee, woman? Anyway, let's get into it. Let's start off with SmackDown. And SmackDown started hot. And as always, remember, y'all, nowadays we are doing highs and lows for each of our 4 biggest topics from each night. Number 1 is the promo, and Cody comes out and basically states nothing, says that he wants Randy Orton, and he thinks CM Punk might have encouraged Randy to cost him his match. If you guys didn't know, Cody Rhodes was defeated by CM Punk at SummerSlam, and CM Punk comes out, basically says, I don't like him either. Let's go fight him and beat him up together. And Cody says, I don't need your help. Yeah, so stupid. And then out came Kevin Owens, and Kevin and Punk had a pretty tamed, aggressive. It like got a little bit big, then it kind of calmed down. I mean, CM Punk made a fat joke for some reason. Like, what year? CM Punk's a weird character, I have to say. the man who like was like, you know, you need to get vaccinated, you need to do this, and then he was like jumping into the crowds during like the highest primes of COVID and getting injured and getting people sick. And then he's like all about, you know, AJ Lee and women's rights and don't body shame, and we all need to be, you know, non-alcoholic drug users. And then he like calls KO like fat, like skinny fat or whatever he called him. Nonetheless, CM Punk's like I like him, I'm not dogging him. I'm just like, stay in your lane,
he's a
bro.
hypocrite.
Like where,
Yeah.
yes, you're like everywhere, dude. You can't claim something and call someone skinny fat. But nonetheless, basically they went back and forth. KO said we're you know, professionals. He ended up pushing Punk. That was kind of it. I have to say, when we talked about this, because I was like, KO came out of nowhere, won, you know, the number one contendership, and you were like, bro, the match is gonna cook. We were texting this because we haven't done the podcast in a while, and I was like, all right, you're right, I'll let it cook. And I thought their promos are gonna be goated. These are like two of the best. They have a history. They have all this animosity. Kevin Owens used to talk shit about him back in the days when he was gone for the this and that. Okay, you do have to start in first gear, I guess. And I think this was more like a first gear approach. So it's a low for me, my friend. I wasn't that high on it. Maybe you were higher on it, but I think maybe I just expected a little bit more of a, let's start in, you know, third gear and then get to 6 by the end before we go to, you know, them wrestling in Toronto. That was the other thing too. I'm like, oh, what PLE this gonna be? Oh, Raw in Toronto. That's an L for Kevin Owens.
Yeah,
like,
that
cool.
That was the thing. Like, I know exactly where I want to fight him in Toronto. I'm like Mania.
Yeah.
It's not even like Money in the Bank, like which is the next PLE. It's freaking Toronto, which is going to be a loss. Yeah, it's. I mean, they could continue the feud, I guess, but yeah, I was disappointed. I was really disappointed in this promo because again, and also. The commentary, we're not allowed to talk about the animosity between these guys. We're not allowed to bring up the history between these guys. So, like, why should I be invested then? Like, your job is to tell us about the history between these guys. Because if we can't know about it, how are we supposed to care about it? You know, and like, I get that they're trying to like build up that there is personal hatred for these guys, but why? What is it? Like, and I feel like commentary didn't do a good job of telling us that. And then the promo itself was just the things that wrestlers get upset about these days. Really, it's confusing me. Like, you know, I'm not going to be. What did Kevin Owens say? He was like, I'm not going to be a piece of shit like you, and that's what set CM Punk off. Yeah. You know, like, or I'm not going to be a miserable piece of shit because you've shown me exactly what not to do as, you know, champion, and that's what, like, not the fat jokes, not the, you know, not the hypocritical jokes, not any of the stuff, but it's you're miserable, and that's what sets you. Like, I don't understand it. So the promo to me was it was a little. I was happy. I'm happy Kevin Owens is back. I think he's great, and I have no doubt that the match between the two is going to be off the chains. And I really hope that the next round of promos is better. And if I had to pick a winner, I'm going to give this first one to Kevin Owens just because, you know, I think he got the better of CM Punk. But I was a little disappointed in how tame it was. And I didn't like commentary not telling us about the history between these guys.
You 100%. And I'm not saying that I'm giving up on it. I'm just saying it's started off slow. Like, it'll get there. Hopefully, it better get there. You know, remember, CM Punk once punched the guy in the face because they called him old. Do you remember that? You're old, fool. And he was like, "What?"
After making fun of the guy's dead dad. Yeah. Again, he's such a weird guy. Like, he's, you know, you can make fun of my dad, but you make fun of, you call me old, I'm gonna punch you. It's so stupid. Yeah.
You know what doesn't trigger WWE superstars? When they get slapped. You know how many wrestlers get slapped and then are like, and I'm like, dude, that's like in the streets. You calling me fat? I'm like, whatever, bro. See you later. You slap me in the face, we're gonna have to throw hands, whether you're gonna kick my ass or not. So it's like, it's so ass backwards. But with that said, let's talk about something else that's ass backwards. And Chelsea Green. Well, maybe that's how I want her, but he became the brand new permanent women's champion. She's not the interim women's champion. By the way, did you hear that Rhea Ripley's like out until like November or something?
That's
like,
what they're saying. Yeah.
Interim? What does it all mean, Basil? What do we
remember when AEW had interim champions?
Yeah.
And everyone hated it,
you can't be gone for 8 months and then come back. Nonetheless, Chelsea Green is the new women's champion, permanent. She gets a pretty good ovation. She comes out. She's about to have a speech. It gets cut off by Tiffany Stratton for some reason. Then Tiffany Stratton gets cut off by Fatal Influence. So Chelsea gets zero work in. She's just completely ignored as the new women's champion. So then they have a tag team match between Fatal Influence minus JC Jane against Chelsea Green and Tiffany Stratton. Fatal Influences wins, and I'm assuming you're thinking Tiffany Stratton, the U.S. women's champion, probably took that pin, right? No, son. Chelsea Green took the pin. So you have Chelsea Green, a fan favorite, who people have shat on because they've always wanted her to be big. The WWE never used her right. She finally gets her moment, wins the women's championship, and you take away her inaugural speech and then have her get pinned instantly. I know we're trying to build feuds. The worst way in pro wrestling to build a feud is by having your champions pinned in non-championship matches. That's our tag team matches or anything that doesn't involve the title. It's stupid. It's always been stupid. Tiffany or Chelsea shouldn't have been pinned. They're both champions. I forgot Tiffany was even a champion. This is another low for me. I know I said it was a hyped week. Good stuff happened, but SmackDown right now to me is 0-2.
Yeah, no, I can't disagree. The only thing that I feel like this was a Bruce Pritchard segment because apparently he hates Chelsea Green backstage and he's the one that advocates for her losing all the time. If you ever watch WWE Unreal, and she even dedicated her win.
I saw that.
Yeah, to Bruce Pritchard at SummerSlam. So maybe this was his way of getting back at her for that, and maybe hopefully now moving forward things will be great for her. But yeah, this was not a good look. She barely got a word in edgewise with her promo, which I feel like they should have, let her soak in that moment and have that moment. And then why is Tiffany Stratton coming out and then feuding with the Fatal Influence? Why are we doing this? What?
I agree.
And then meanwhile, you have other women competing, and what are they competing for? It just nothing makes any sense right now. So I did not like this at all.
Yeah, I give it a slow start for a champion who deserves better. Even when she got interrupted, she was like, "Hey guys, that's rude. You should stop." And I was like, "Wait, what do you do? What's happening, Chelsea Green?
It's
it
not
was rude. Get in there, girl. Don't be offended by it. Be mad about it."
And is she a heel? Is she a baby face? That's the other thing. I know she got a huge pop when she won the title, and obviously it was a great moment. But I also feel like she's still a heel with the character. So I that's the other thing I can't wrap my head around.
Yeah, I think she's a babyface right now because she's with Tiffany Stratton too, and they're trying. And she did get cheered. She didn't get a huge pop like when she won. They never do, but she did get cheered. She got a good enough pop. Then Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes, they make it back. Randy comes out into the ring. Cody runs out to interfere with him. Randy slips and dips out. Basically, they go at it, and this is what Punk and Kevin Owens didn't have. Even though Randy and Cody could have dived in more, I felt like in this promo, they're both going to go to the dark side. And that's what I want. I feel like we're going to have a heel Randy who's going to go back to maybe that haunting Triple H in his home, Randy Orton. And Cody Rhodes is going to be that Highlander type of Cody Rhodes. Because that last comment where he said, "You used to be the legend killer, but now you're the legend. So who's going to kill you?" I was like, God damn. I like it a lot. And the fact that Randy was like, "Hey, nope, you would never be the champion again because I'll make sure it doesn't." It was the perfect. I mean, they have a history, and I know they've already had a few, but we can dive back into it more, dive into it a little bit sooner leading up to whatever they wrestle. But right now, I thought this was vengeful. I thought it was awesome. I liked where it's going. I like when two guys go dark. Cody can be the babyface. He needs to have the edge. And it looks like that's what they're both going to have. So I think this was a high for me, my friend.
Yeah, this was absolutely a high, probably the highest of the night. And it's so much, Cody Rhodes is so much more enjoyable when he doesn't have the title. And this is the perfect feud for him to not have the title. We're gonna see how well he can do without being in the championship picture. And this is exactly what their feud should have been at WrestleMania as well. Instead, you got Pat McAfee involved, and then you had all the celebrity involvement with Cody. It was just like TKO got in there and jacked it up. This is what it should have been on the build to WrestleMania, and I feel like they're going to make up for that with this feud. Because now, like you said, I think both guys are going to go to the dark side. I really hope we get that evil legend killer type Randy Orton, the sadistic Randy Orton that, hits the mat when he hears those voices, and he's going to kick some ass. And then again, I want the Cody Rhodes that beat up his brother. I want the Cody Rhodes that was just an asshole on the and when he was in TNA and ROH. I want that Cody Rhodes, and hopefully we get it. I really do. I hope we get it, and I hope this feud goes on for at least 3 or 4 months. I think this has the potential to be similar to what Drew McIntyre and CM Punk was for Cody and Randy. And I think both guys really need it.
They do, and I think we are going to go there. That's how I think it should have been done at WrestleMania, and it wasn't because they added in Pat McAfee and everybody else. But
stupid.
But I think we're going to get there. I think this is cooking, and I can smell it. I can smell what they're cooking, and I like it, if you know what I mean. All right, we closed out with the main event of Charlotte Flair versus Jade Cargill, believe it or not. It was a SmackDown main event. They're having their match, and all of a sudden we get the return of one sexy, beautiful Alexa Bliss. She's in an arm brace. I thought she faked that injury because she always does, because she's like double jointed. She always kind of does that fake like snapping thing, but I think she really is injured. But nonetheless, she had her big old cast on. She shows her Lily doll. She does the whole hand face thing with play, showing the props to Bray Wyatt. Lights go out. Boof! Tatum Paxley's there. She does a big, not a moonsault, but a big old dive onto Jade Cargill's homies and knocks them down, and then Charlotte gets the pin on Jade. So it looks like we have a new trio kind of women's crew. We don't have a lot of women's crews right now. I don't even if Fatal Influence about it. So I like seeing Charlotte, Tatum, Alexa. It gives Charlotte a friend with Tatum while Alexa Bliss heals. It gives them momentum to continue to go. And Tatum Paxley, if you haven't seen her on NXT, ladies and gentlemen, she is uber underrated. She's cute. She knows how to wrestle. She does the crazy perfectly. And I think because of that, her and Alexa Bliss match. So I'm going to go high again. I'm going to end it with the high, even though the match, I know what you're probably going to talk about, got sloppy. Charlotte and Jade kind of seemed out of sync at that end and couldn't really hit what they were trying to hit. But the thing with Charlotte, even though she's the greatest of all time, she's never been the real lead of the match. She's always kind of clunky, and Jade's clunky. So I think you had the two, followers of the ring. Yeah, it's like having the two people who aren't lead in it. Yeah, it made it a little sloppy, I think.
This is like the 5th or 6th time that these two women have wrestled, and every match has always been super clunky, or something has always gone wrong, whether it's a wardrobe malfunction or something, pops, and somebody looks like they're getting hurt, or they look like they break a bone out. It's just not a good look. But like you were saying about the women's crews, man, I think there's you have Lash Legend and Nia Jax still out there. You still have
they're a tag team, but and
I mean they could always add one more person. There's that girl from LFG that's always hanging out with them. And then there's Chelsea and Tiffany Stratton, and they could always add another person. And then Fatal Influence and Charlotte and Alexa Bliss. So I think the women's division on SmackDown is in a really, really good spot. And I know I don't know how. I mean, Charlotte Flair we've always said that she's somebody that always has to be in the quote unquote title picture. She hasn't been around the women's championship picture in quite a while, and she's been killing it. And I think that her reputation of, she shouldn't have, people are saying she shouldn't have won the Rumble last year, and maybe that's true, but she is killing it right now with Alexa Bliss as her tag team partner. She's people are starting to come around and see how great Charlotte Flair is. And she's also another one that's been away from the title picture, and look at how enjoyable she is. So let's keep this up with her. She's doing great work.
I agree, and I forgot that Nia Jax also attacked Chelsea Green after she lost her match, so she got triple whammied. I forgot about that. All right, let's move on to Raw, my man. This is where stuff, in my opinion, got good, except for really one segment. We'll see how you agree. Solo Sikoa and Jey Uso open up Monday Night Raw. Jey Uso goes at Solo, basically wanting him to join the damn bloodline, and they go back and forth, and Jey Uso does some warning shots. See a warning shot. Bah! Solo's in the crowd, and Solo legit ducks that shit hard. Ducks it hard. Looks around, makes sure everybody's okay. Even asks, anyone get shot? Making sure he doesn't get his warning shot. Hilarious stuff. You could tell Jay was kind of irked by it too. Solo does his pew pew, and then basically tells him, I'll wrestle you later on. If I win, y'all leave me alone. If you win, I'll let you make me join the bloodline. They wrestle later on, and oh boy, Jey Uso wins. Solo's going to join the bloodline. He even tweeted, I don't know if you heard about that afterwards, said, well, I guess I'm going back to the bloodline. So he's embracing it. It will be next Monday Night Raw with Roman. I have to say, this obviously this is all a high for me. This was fantastic stuff. I think you'll agree, but I think a lot of people are going to get upset that Solo's going back to the Bloodline. They think the Bloodline is dead, this and that. Dude, if you need to get Solo Sikoa over as a uber babyface, because he's starting to get over and the crowd's liking him. He has a personality. He's starting to get cheered. How do you get him fully over? Have him get bullied in the Bloodline for a few months. Have him get the comeuppance and beat them up, or even beat Roman, whoever you want, or he takes out Fatu, takes them all out. And now he's the hero, the savior, and he becomes an uber. That's how it's booking 101, ladies and gentlemen. And you know LA Knight's going to play a part in it because he told LA Knight, come back me up, and LA Knight was nowhere to be seen. So you know this is fantastic. As always, the Bloodline. I don't care what Conrad Thompson says, Roman Reigns being the most overrated main eventer of all time. I used to like Conrad. I don't know what the hell happened to that dude. He's a moron now. He said a lot of stupid things lately. That's what happens. These podcasts started getting bought out by WWE, man, and they just suck the teeth. We'll never suck that teeth, homie.
Such a horrible take. Yeah, you can like. I'll just talk about that for a minute because saying that Roman Reigns is the most overrated, and then people were going back at him, being like, well, who it was JBL that was going back at him. He was like, he's a heat
JBL
magnet.
was defending Roman. Yeah,
he had 8 to 10 minutes of people just booing him nonstop after he beat the Undertaker, and he's like, that doesn't make it good. But yet he'll go and suckle at the teat of John Cena, who got booed out of the building every time he wrestled. And the fans love John Cena now. How is it any different? John Cena is one of the greatest of all time. Roman Reigns is one of the greatest of all. Such a shitty take. I can't stand it.
It was awful.
But as far as this is concerned, this is the definite, people getting upset about Solo going back to the Bloodline is the definition of why we need to let things play out in wrestling, because we don't know what's going to happen. If he goes back to the Bloodline and he is the silent enforcer, we never hear from Solo again, then these people they have every right to be upset. I don't think that's what's going to happen. There's so many different ways that they can do this. They can use this as an opportunity to get Solo and Jacob Fatu back together, and they can destroy the Bloodline from within. Because remember, Jacob had his beef with Roman, and now he's kind of feuding a little bit with Jimmy and Jay. They're clashing. Roman was questioning his loyalty, and that's why he took out Royce Keys the week before. So Solo is now coming back, and I love you, Solo. They were tight at one point, so you can bring them back together and get them back into the fold. You can use Solo as a way to, maybe he becomes the new right-hand man like Jey Uso. Jey Uso was the most over guy in the Bloodline at one point, where people thought that he was going to dethrone Roman. Maybe now Solo can be that guy to where people think he can be the one to dethrone Roman. And there's the whole LA Knight stuff. So we got to let this play out. I'm not a fan of Solo losing the match. I feel like he is red hot right now, and you need to, you're going to strap the rocket onto him and push him, especially after they got the win at SummerSlam. You need to keep that momentum going for him. But I also understand why he lost the match, because you're trying to tell the story of him coming back to the Bloodline. So I am curious to see where it goes. My only low of that whole segment was Michael Cole on commentary. Again, commentary was really pissing me off this week, but it was the opening part of Monday Night Raw where he is he's giving you a rundown of the show. You're showing people walking into the building and everything. And he said something about the Bloodline, and he called it the Bloodline story continues. And that really irritated me, because it was basically telling me that what we're seeing on TV is a story. And it was basically them saying that none of this is real. This is all pretend. It was the Bloodline story continues with this latest chapter with Solo Sikoa and Jey Uso, and we're going to get to that right now. And then Jay's music hits, and it was just why do you have to use the word story? You couldn't say saga, you couldn't say the family business, you couldn't say something else. Yeah. You had to use the word story. I don't know. That kind of took me out of it with all that and the Unreal stuff, and just stop telling us that wrestling is fake.
Fake. I well said. I fully agree. And I'm not even old head trying to act, though I am. I'm not trying to act like it back in our days. But I fully agree with you. Well, you know what? We talked about something positive. I'm going to start talking about something negative now. My boy, Dirty Dom, the thing my son just got me, Dominic Mysterio. This man at SummerSlam, because we didn't talk about it, lost human monies on a pole match to Downhausen, which is now supposedly the lowest rated match of all time or something like that. It's like rated as dog shit. Dom took the L. Follows that up with right now Monday Night Raw being upset that he's not in the who's going to face Roman AAA tournament match to lose. Yeah, whatever. And he gets challenged by Dragon Lee. Dominic is the AAA world champion, right? He's the main champion. He literally, Dragon Lee's in AAA, basically, right? They wrestle against each other. And Dom and Dragon Lee wrestle in a match. And Dragon Lee beats him. Clean as shit. Cleanest match I've ever seen. Super clean. You're going to tell me, no Judgment Day. Nobody was seen. Liv Morgan was there. She came out in a segment later on that we'll talk about. Nowhere to be seen. No one wanted to help him. Dominic Mysterio, I believe, is still the biggest heel in pro wrestling. That's 100% in WWE. He's the AAA champion, being booked in AAA as a mega champion as a straight stud. He's in factions. He's turning on people. He gets booed. He gets cheered. And you're going to tell me he's going to come over and lose to Dragon Lee. What are we doing? What? This was such a... Why are we having him lose? And this man, seriously, should be vying for the World Heavyweight Championship already. That he's that damn good. I don't care what people say. People come up my comments, bro, you don't know what you're talking about, bro. He's soft. You can't... Y'all are stupid. This man has it all. He has the personality, the attitude, the female love gimmicks, everything he touches. He's a freaking Mysterio, for crying out loud. And he's losing to Dragon Lee clean. And no offense to Dragon Lee, but Dragon Lee... Ryan, you got to help me on this. You got to help me.
I can't. This was horrible. This was terrible, awful, horrible, no good, very bad. This was awful. It was I remember we used to clown on like the way NXT people were booked on the main roster when they were still competing in NXT. Like Grayson Waller and Johnny Gargano were like crushing it in NXT, but then on the main roster they were losing matches left and right, and it made no sense. And that's kind of how this feels with Dominic Mysterio. He's dominating on AAA. He's like unstoppable. He's booked as the stud, like you were saying, and now on the main roster for whatever reason, he's losing match after match after match to guys he should have no business losing to. And can you imagine if Dominic Mysterio was in this tournament? Right now, this is Penta's tournament to win. Penta's going to win this tournament. It's probably going to be Penta versus Ray Phoenix in the finals. 100%. And then that's how we get the Lucha Brothers.
Penta versus Roman. Hell yeah.
Yep. And Penta versus Roman. Imagine if it was Dirty Dom versus Roman. Like how insane that would be. Imagine the promos. Imagine the hype level that people would feel. Imagine just like everything. It would be freaking money. And for whatever reason, he's not even in it, and he's losing clean to Dragon Lee, who's also not even. Or is he in the tournament? Or is he one of? He wasn't.
Yeah, no, he's in it. He's wrestling. I forget who he's wrestling. Yeah.
But this wasn't a tournament match. But it doesn't. Yeah, this is not. This was.
That's
not
what
good.
I mean. It wasn't even a tournament match. He didn't lose a tournament match. Like I'm wondering if he's like. Are we doing this thing where you like LA Knight and where you're gonna like make him lose and stuff, so he has to build himself back up to earn it? Like I feel like that's
and now LA Knight's gonna enter this tournament. Yeah.
Well, he's not entering the tournament. They said he was gonna find a way, but I'm so excited for El Grande Americano 3 with him, like you know what I mean, like in the tournament. A Los Naito. Like I'm so excited for it, but nonetheless. WWE, save my man, do better.
Yes, big time.
Well, we're continuing. Speaking of Liv Morgan interfering, we had Becky Lynch and Stephanie Vaquer. For those of you who haven't been caught up, Stephanie Vaquer returned. She wants Liv Morgan, but then Becky Lynch, the man, returned as a babyface. I didn't think she can do it again, but Becky Lynch is coming off her greatest run ever, making the IC Women's Championship relevant, and now she comes back to a huge babyface response. Girl needs to be the world champion as well. She is starting. I said this on TikTok. She's starting to have that aura of Roman Reigns that when she appears, you're in awe. She just has that about her now. She's there. She's past Rhea. I'm not going to say she's past my girl Trish as the greatest women's female wrestler of all time, but she's closing in on it, bro. She is doing there. She's having a revolutionary run, and her and Stephanie Vaquer feels special. People like Vaquer. She's hot. She has great moves. She does that stupid hump your face on the mat thing. People want her, and I'm excited and intrigued because are we going to get a three-way? Are we going to get Becky and Stephanie? But nonetheless, Becky and Stephanie are going at it. Liv tries to interfere. Becky knocks her out of the ring. Stephanie tries to attack Liv on the follow-up, but Liv ducks under it, and then it's like a face-to-face between them. It's a high for me. I love it all. I'm loving what they're doing with the Women's Championship, especially when people shout on Liv for not defending it for 100 days. We getting a triple threat, Ryan? Are we getting a qualifier match to see who faces Liv, or is Liv going to get forgotten and continue not to defend her title because Becky and Stephanie are going to feud, and that's a hotter moment right now? Did you like the segment? Let's hear it.
Yeah, no, this was definitely a high for me as well. Probably maybe the high of Monday Night Raw, but behind the Solo Sikoa stuff. But yeah, and shout out to Stephanie Becerra too, because she worked on her English while she was on the shelf with her injury, because it used to be that you could tell the English was not her first language when she was cutting promos. Now she's speaking in complete sentences and you're understanding everything that she's saying. I think she's understanding what people are saying. I think she's really come into her own as a character and as a performer. So shout out to her as well. And I think that's helping this feud get over. But I definitely think we're getting a 3-way. I think it's going to be Liv Morgan versus Stephanie versus Becky Lynch. And Becky Lynch is she's getting. I think she might be there. I think she might be the greatest woman wrestler of all time, in terms of character, in terms of promo, in terms of the run that she's had. Yeah. Everything that she's done has turned to gold.
I agree.
The fact that she's been around for as long as she has, she's elevated so many people. She's elevated so many championships. People are better because they work with Becky Lynch. Stephanie Becerra is better because she's working with Becky Lynch. So Ruka was killing it when she was working with Becky Lynch. Maxine Dupree was killing it when she was working with Becky. Like, everybody that Becky Lynch works with is money in their feud with Becky Lynch. Like, she elevates them to the next level, and it's really incredible to see.
Well said. I fully agree. That's what makes you great, right? It's not just about how good you treat yourself and how good you are. It's how you elevate other people. And that's why I always say John Cena is not in my top greatest of all time, because he didn't help elevate people. It always felt like he was doing it for himself, even though I love John Cena. I'm stating how I feel. But
yes, SummerSlam,
dude,
prime example. Yeah,
dude, what the heck? See, Austin /Theory.
Yes.
He's like, I'm going to lose to you at Mania? All right, well, I'm going to bury the shit out of you in promos before we get there, because I'm not going to play that. All right, well, speaking of the future, are you ready? Let's close it out on Raw. Oba Femi and Braun Breaker have been having a mini little beef. It continued on. The Vision were beating people up. Braun Breaker's about to spear Tozawa again into oblivion. Out comes Oba Femi doing his little He's looking good, man. How did he lose, like 50 pounds? He's looking good.
He's looking.
Yeah, he came out. You can't have a big old fat belly if you want to be a world champion like that. He knows what's up. He's like, I got to get fit. He comes out. Oba Femi comes out. Him and Braun Breaker are face to face. The crowd, ate it up. I'll tell you that much. The crowd ate it up, bro. They were cheering, whatever. And then Braun Breaker later on backstage had a little chat with Braun, where Braun's like, "You love Oba more than me?" And Paul Heyman's like, "Did you know the sky's blue?" And he's like, "Just tell me, do you love him more than me?" And then basically. Paul Heyman's like, "If you beat his ass, then I'll respect you," or whatever, blah, blah, blah. You probably remember it better than I. Yes. But nonetheless, here's my thing. I mean, I got to give it a high just because of the crowd reaction. But my problem with it is this. Number one, Ryan, this is a downgrade for Oba Femi. And that's no knock on Braun Breaker. But Oba Femi just won King of the Ring. Oba Femi just retired the Beast Brock Lesnar, one of the greatest of all time.
Twice.
Beat him 2 out of 3 times. Beat him twice. Once at WrestleMania, bro.
Retired him twice, if you want to get
Yes, retired him twice too. Yeah. Now he should be going to the moon. He should be beating Roman or CM Punk right now. The end. Instead, he's going to go down to see if he's the future by beating Braun Breaker, who's done absolutely nothing. And that's not a knock on Braun Breaker. And I think this match is going to be great. But then, what are we going to do? Is Oba going to beat Braun? Now Braun loses for the 15th time in a row and Oba gets a win over somebody he shouldn't wrestled? Or does Paul Heyman side with Braun Breaker, help him beat Oba Femi, and now we have Oba Femi lose again 2 out of his last 4 matches? I don't think this is the right time. I think this is a lose-lose situation. I think we all know Oba's going to win the Rumble and main event at WrestleMania. I'm just confused on what we're doing right now. The fans are still loving him. The loss of Brock Lesnar didn't hurt him that much. A loss of Braun Breaker would, even if it's a Paul Heyman double turn, you know what I mean? Which I think is a option, a pretty high option as well. What's the
Yeah, no, I can see that, and I'm gonna give this a low. I don't
Oh,
like this. I don't like this feud. What are they? They're feuding over what? Like, what's the
the future.
the future?
Who's the
And
future?
What was it? Oba Femi interrupted Braun Breaker's exit last week
Uh-huh.
on Raw, and that's what set him off. And they stare each other down as Oba Femi comes to the ring. And then this week, they're feuding over the future. It's just, and they're feuding over Paul Heyman. Like you were saying, you love Paul Heyman, you love Oba Femi more than me. But so I just don't like this feud. And then, like you were saying, man, like neither guy can afford a loss. Braun Breaker he was the guy, man. He was the guy. People thought last year at around this time, we thought, man, Braun Breaker just beat Roman Reigns. Him and Bronson Reed are going to be a formidable duo forever. This guy has got world champion written all over him. And for the longest time in 2025, he was killing it. He looked great when he turned on Seth Rollins and he was holding up the World Heavyweight Championship and all this stuff. And then, he loses to CM Punk on the first Raw of 2026 and never really regained any of that momentum. He got hurt. He got taken out of the Rumble by the Masked Man. I think he was the first one eliminated from the Royal Rumble.
Yes, he was.
And then
like instantly, remember? Instantly.
Yeah, instantly. He wasn't even in there for long. And then Oba was number 2 and Braun was number 1. And then he got hurt. He missed WrestleMania. And then he loses his feud when he comes back to Seth Rollins. He loses 2 out of 3 to Seth Rollins. He was left off of SummerSlam. He looks like he doesn't want to be in a tag team with Austin Theory.
Yeah, what's that about?
He looks miserable
pouting
out
the whole
there.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, he just doesn't look like he's having fun. But this guy was the guy. And you might have him lose to Oba Femi now, and that's gonna hurt his momentum. And then Oba Femi can't take a loss because he just retired Brock Lesnar twice. And again, what are they feuding over? Paul Heyman and the feud. It doesn't make any. I don't like this at all. I think this is a downgrade for Oba Femi. I don't think Braun can afford a loss right now. I think what they need to do with Braun is what they're doing with Big Cass. Have him going down and beat the hell out of little guys. Have him going down and if you want to rebuild his stock and then you want to do Braun versus Oba in like January, go for it. But right now, it doesn't feel like the right time for this feud. And both guys are the future of WWE. That's not a knock on any of them, but this just is not the right time.
Yeah, and that's why I said that, because I just don't think this is the right timing, because none of them can take an L. So what are we doing here? It just is kind of weird.
And I don't want to see them fight to like a no contest either.
Oh my goodness.
That's what's going to that protects them both.
Yeah, no, thank you. We can't be doing that. Well said, Ryan. All right, you ready? Let's get into some NXT. You ready to do this?
Yeah, let's go for it.
We were going to do 2 things. I think let's just do one. Let's just talk about one thing. And everybody knows what that one thing is going to be. Let's break
Shiloh Hill.
Yes, Shiloh Hill. His promos have been nothing but fun. We are going to talk about Zilla Fatu, ladies and gentlemen. And I think the best part about Zilla Fatu's debut on NXT was that he was wearing a shirt that said Zilla Fatu. I think the one thing that WWE forgets, and AEW does it too, is that they have these people you just assume because the internet knows them that means the internet is the only people who watch your product. And you have a guy debut and everybody's like, yeah, I don't know who the hell that guy is. Although he looks Samoan, I'm assuming he's somebody. I like the fact that he came out in a Zilla Fatu shirt. So everyone in the crowd knew, oh shit, that's Zilla Fatu. This is the guy everyone's been waiting for. And basically we had a Grayson Waller, Mike Santana, that's right, Mike Santana match to see who's going to face Tony D. It gets interrupted by Zilla Fatu. I like how they called it a no contest, even though the first guy he hit should have won the match. That's how it works.
Yeah.
He should be the number 1 contender, but we interrupted that. He lays them both out. He looks fire. He's aggressive. He's doing that slam way better than Jay and Jimmy do. He's looking good. He stares down Tony D. Bro, I had chills. I was like, this is like NXT right now, including WWE and AEW, have the hottest men's heavyweight championship group at the moment. Like Tony D in the second run of NXT since 2.0, he's got to be 1, 2, or 3 best champions they've had. He's done nothing but have great matches. He has a phenomenal look. He got rid of that stupid Italian accent thing that he was doing. He has a great beard. The guy just looks like a freaking champion. He's just built like it. Then you brought back Grayson Waller, who was always underutilized, who looks like he's getting kind of some freedom right now to be himself. You have Mike Santana, who's been an underground, darling for the while, who's now in the title run. And then you have the person everybody's been wanting is Zilla Fatu. Bro, I don't even know where we're going with this. It's going to be a four-way. It's going to be Tony going to wrestle them all. Is Tony ready to go to WWE? And we're going to have these guys. I'm so intrigued. I'm so pumped. And I really am excited that Zilla Fatu went to NXT like Solo Sikoa did. They're probably like, hey, you're still young. He's like 24 or something. Let's get you there. Let's bring you in. Let's build you up. Then you can go to join the bloodline. Instead of this joining the bloodline where he might just get lost in the shuffle. Let him be a champion. Let him wreak havoc right now. You know what I mean? And just dominate. I'm all for it. This was a huge plus for me and a fantastic way to end an NXT, which has kind of been hurting a little bit at the moment with trying to build new people since their whole roster left. So, yeah. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, it's amazing, like the last couple of months with what NXT has done, because they lost Trick Williams, they lost Oba Femi, they lost Carmelo Hayes, they lost so many people.
Sol Ruka, Tatum Paxley now. They lost
Fatal Influence. Like they lost almost their entire roster. But the women in NXT have always been fine, in more ways than one. But they keep churning out great female competitors. It was the men's division where they were like, okay, how are they going to replace Oba Femi and Ricky Saints and Ethan Page and all these guys that are going up to the main roster now, and they're doing it. They got Mike Santana, they have Mason Rook, you have Tony D'Angelo, now Grayson Waller's back, and now you add Zilla Fatu. And I do like them not putting him right in the bloodline. I think that was the wise decision. And I think they should I think he should eventually join the bloodline, but I think it should be a slow burn. I think you should see Roman on NXT from time to time trying to recruit Zilla Fatu to the bloodline, and Zilla's refusing or something. And you get some ratings for NXT popping up out of there. You can send Jimmy and Jay down to watch him, or you can show Roman watching highlights of Zilla on NXT on Monday Night Raw or something and being impressed with what he's seeing. Something like that. Just make it a slow burn. Don't just make it happen right away, and make Zilla not want to do it at first because he wants to do his own thing. And then, again, if you add Solo to it and now you have Jacob and maybe you bring Zilla into the fold and these three guys could be the ones that take out Roman, Jimmy, and Jay. There's your War Games match in November with two other guys joining each of them. There you go. Bloodline versus Bloodline. Again, but this time legit. Unlike don't add CM Punk to the mix. That's stupid. Like they
don't
did.
Remind me. Yes, don't remind me.
The favor.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think that there's so many ways that they can do this. So I'm super pumped to have Zilla Fatu in NXT, and let him run it, man. Put the title on him. I'm all for it. Put him he looked great. He looks incredible.
He does. Well said, man. It's the end of summer, but yeah, you still cooking that barbecue, bro. You
always,
were cooking
man.
Right there. I love it. I love it. All right. That was it. That's our weekend review. Like I said, a lot of stuff happened, a lot of good. I know we had some negatives, but it was still progress, trying to push stories and building. So all you people keep saying WWE is so lame right now, yucca yucca yucca. It's really not. They're just figuring themselves out. Sometimes you got to mix it up to get there. All right, let's end it up with our last segment. That's our LVD and MVD of the week. This one's gonna hurt me. First time ever, I'll probably cry during it, but we are talking about the worst booked or best booked wrestlers of the week. Doesn't mean we hate or love them, just means they were trash this week. Ryan, who's your LVD of the week, and why am I assuming it's the same one I got?
Yeah, I'm gonna. I knew you were gonna pick, and I know it was gonna kill you, so I'm gonna spare you the pain this time. I'm gonna go with somebody different. Okay. I'm actually gonna go down to NXT, and I'm gonna go with Grayson Waller. And the reason why I'm gonna go with Grayson Waller,
that's surprising.
is because this guy came back to NXT after 9 months away recently. Cut this promo, this Grayson Waller pipe bomb where he's bashing everybody on the NXT roster, talking about TNA, talking about how winning at TNA is like being the best pickup basketball player at the YMCA, like anybody can do it. And then he's wearing a Y hoodie, which is funny stuff. Like I'm proud. Like that was good stuff. His promo was good, but he follows it up with a no contest match to Mike Santana, and it's just like, huh? And not only that, but that promo that he cut that was the episode that Mike Santana debuted in NXT. So it's like, okay, well, he's talking all this shit about the men not competing for the title and not wanting the championship. And here he is saying, I want the title. He's not going to beat, is he going to beat Tony D'Angelo for the belt? Is he going to beat Zilla Fatu now? Is he going to beat Mike Santana? Am I supposed to believe that? And then based on what I saw on Tuesday, it feels like he's going to become an afterthought. So I feel like he did all this talk, and now he's not going to walk. And I got to give it to Grayson Waller. I was hyped that he was back in NXT not too long ago, and now I'm like, he's just going to be another guy on this roster. He's just there to fill out the men's roster, and that's all it is. And I don't like it.
It's so funny you said that. So I just talked about how excited it is. I think it's the best world heavyweight men's thing going on right now. But I like that you said that because he came out, he cut the pipe bomb of the century or whatever, right? And then they had Santana debut literally right after him. And now they both had like a thing, and now they bring in Zilla. So now he feels even more. It reminds me a lot of, do you remember this guy, Mason Rook? This guy came in. John Cena said he was the greatest thing ever. He was going to be this beast monster. Dude never even got a title shot. And now he's losing to nobodies in 3 minutes on NXT this week. He's a complete and utter, and gosh, hopefully that doesn't have to Grayson Waller.
Remember Naruku and
what happened? At least he had a couple. At least he had a couple title matches. But you can't win them all. But well said.
Those guys, man. Yeah,
dude. Oh yeah, that's right. All right, let's get into it. My LVD of the week is none other than Dirty Dom.
I knew it.
How could it not be? The funny part is too, because you were saying how the universes are different. He was a babyface for a little bit on AAA. They made him a babyface, and then he'd end up turning again. It's just wild to me how WWE wants you to disbelieve so much, but they bring AAA into the world. They're having a tournament to face Roman, and they're wrestling on Raw and SmackDown and such to determine who face. It's bizarre, but dude, losing to Dragon Lee after losing to Danhausen is just utter and complete bullshit. I don't know if Dom's shitting someone's coffee. I don't know what's going on.
He's been very vocal on podcasts.
I've been hearing that
about how he's questioning his booking and stuff. And, Triple H is becoming more and more like Vince McMahon each and every day.
Which is weird because that was Triple H's MO, was going against, what you want. Him and Shawn Michaels were known for that. It's just wild. And Dom should. I mean, the thing is, Dom's 24, 23, 25. He's a punk ass kid who's married Mysterio's son. Of course he's gonna he's got the whole world in his hands. He's like a huge superstar. Of course he's gonna talk shit and stuff. He's vocal. He's not in his late 30s where he's matured and he's like, oh, I know where I need to be. No, he's gonna talk it and get it. That's what we do when we're young. So nonetheless, Dirty Dom needs to be treated better. He's my LVD, even though it pains me. I don't want to talk about it too much. I don't want to cry. So,
he's 29. I just looked him up, but I'm in full agreement, man. They need to do him better. He's struggling right now, and he's great on AAA. And that's the other thing. They're trying to make AAA more mainstream. CM Punk is going to be at World's End as the WWE undisputed champion, which is in Chicago. So they're trying to do that crossover. They're doing that thing with Roman Reigns. Dominic Mysterio could be the biggest. He is the biggest star that AAA has, and I think he deserves to be booked better on the main roster.
Dude, that's an understatement. Way big understatement. All right, let's end on a positive. MVD. Do we got the same one? Do we got different ones? Who is your most valuable dude or dudette of the week?
I'm gonna go with the guy I said I was disappointed in on SmackDown, and that is Kevin Owens. I'm happy to have Kevin Owens back on the main roster, or just back in general after 17 months away with the neck injury. I didn't think he needed to be added to the #1 contendership match at SummerSlam, but we didn't talk about that. But I didn't think that was necessary, and now he is the #1 contender. And that promo didn't really deliver, didn't live up to the hype, at least in my opinion, between him and Punk. But I do think he got the better of CM Punk. I think he got under CM Punk's skin, which not a lot of people can do. Roman Reigns can do it, and I think Kevin Owens has the opportunity to do it. Drew McIntyre can do it. But it's just a blessing having Kevin Owens back on WWE television. You could tell how much he was missed. He's made, just having him there makes SmackDown better. SmackDown was watchable for the first time in what feels like forever, and I feel like Kevin Owens is a part of that. His stuff with backstage with Sami Zayn, where Sami Zayn's still complaining about losing and saying that you kind of screwed me over as well by being in that match. Just all that stuff has been gold. Just Kevin Owens being back in WWE in general is best for business. It's the greatest thing, and I'm here for it all. And I don't think he's going to beat CM Punk, even though I would argue to say that he should.
Yeah, great pick. Great pick. I like it. I don't know if CM Punk doesn't look like he's a long-lasting champ, so who knows? Mine is going.
I think they're trying to do Punk versus Roman at Crown Jewel. I think that's what they're doing for the Crown Jewel Championship.
Yeah, that makes sense. That does make sense. But who would take the L there? Well, CM Punk, obviously. All right. Yeah. Mine is none other than an NXTer, and that's one Zilla Fatu. I liked it because I didn't know it was happening. Maybe I missed dirt sheet information. I like when I get surprised. He looked like a beast. He then instantly went on Chris Van Fleet and did an interview with him. I mean, the dude's hot right now. I feel like he's going to be a huge star. I think it's kind of like when Jacob Fatu came. He's got more push than Solo did, and he's got kind of a vibe like Jacob did, where he just looks like a dude who's going to whoop that ass and take some names, and I think he can be a big star in NXT and lead his way into WWE. So yeah, I got Zilla Fatu as my most valuable dude of the week. I feel like he just shined the most. What I remembered most out of anything this week.
Yeah, no, that's a solid pick. It's he made a hell of a debut, and I hope they continue it. I hope they don't do this thing where he competes for the title and loses, or he does what Grayson Waller's doing or what Cruz Montana's doing. Like, I strap the rocket to this guy, give him the championship, let him hold the title for a while. Let's let him be the Roman of NXT. Who's going to dethrone Zilla? That's what I want to see.
I agree. Well said. All right, there it is. Went a little bit longer than we thought, but we haven't talked in a while, so we were talking. I'm so glad. Hopefully you guys are all tuned back in. We will continue to do this. We're also bringing back AEW. We're doing that again. We are going to be back full-time once again, so check us out. Keep tuning in to Two Dudes. As always, if you just want to hear me yappity yap, I'm at my_wrestling_opinion on all your social medias. And with me, as always, is the man with two houses.
Yeah, that's me. Ryan enjoys wrestling, so go follow me on all the social media platforms. Hopefully soon I'll be down to one, and I'll be, in our new location with a new background and everything here within the next couple of weeks. So bear with us. But go follow us, the podcast, at Two Dudes with Attitudes on all your social media platforms, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and on X as well. And we're on Twitch whenever we do go live. So Two Dudes _ with Attitudes over there. And then if you're listening to us on Apple or Spotify or anywhere you get your audio podcast, we are in the top 10% of all listened to wrestling podcasts. That's still the case, even though we've been gone for about a month. So suck on that, haters, because we are still in the top 10% of all listened to wrestling podcasts. But we want to get into that top 5%, the top 1%. And the way to do that is by leaving 5-star ratings and reviews, telling everyone about your favorite two dudes on the internet. So we appreciate everyone's love and support. Go out there, spread the word, and tell everyone about your favorite dudes, your favorite dudettes, whatever. But go share the word about our podcast.
Yes, sir. Two Dudes Wolfpack. We out.
Two dudes with attitudes. Let's go. It's the two dudes and our attitudes ruthless, aggressively speaking. So let's do this. We're Ryan and Denton, they here to get your attention. The 5-star broadcast shit, start to the ending. Whether it's the E or it's all Lee, the two dudes with the attitudes to bring the heat. Get the point, yeah, it's on time to lie.